Hi, welcome to the Tuesday Takeaway. I hope you are doing well this fine Tuesday. I'm just going to kind of fill for a moment while I wait for some comments. If you could let me know if you are joining live, that would be wonderful. To turn my phone down so it doesn't disrupt this broadcast. I'm really hoping that you can hear me. I'm trying a different mic. So if somebody was able to say, I can hear you, that would be fantastic for me too. I've been testing it and I'm hoping it's successful. So if you can hear me, that would be fantastic. Thank you very much. I can see that. So let's do a bit of housekeeping. Welcome to the Tuesday Takeaway. Same time every single week. It's Tuesday at 1:30. And thank you very much. That's super helpful. And we've got 2 focuses today instead of 1. And I always try to come in just in this half an hour time frame so that it's perfect if you get a lunch break. There are 2 themes for today, and I will introduce them shortly. If you are joining live and you haven't typed something into the comments already, it would be really helpful if you would type in hello. And that ensures that you continue to see these videos, and it also helps me to see that you are there, which is fantastic. If you are watching on replay, if you would type into the comments #replay, that would do a similar job. So thank you very much for joining. We've got 2 themes for today. And one is the theme around the lived experience of a person suffering intimate partner violence. And the second one is the Welsh Single Safeguarding Review. So, I'm going to dive straight into the intimate partner violence one. And I'm going to talk about Home Office guidance. I pulled this extract from Home Office guidance last week when I was preparing for our workshop. I'm going to read it back out to you because at paragraph 9 in this 2016 guidance, it talks about the purpose of a domestic homicide review. And it says the key is situating the review in the home, family, and community of the victim and exploring everything with an open mind. And I was thinking about how well we are able to do that when we don't always understand how to analyse the relationship between intimate partner violence and suicidality, self-harm, when the research base hasn't been very strong at all. And I think this June 2022 study was the first one to examine the relationship between these overlapping problems. So this was the topic for our workshop last week, and I'll tell you about how it all went. Basically, it was Estella Capellas Barbosa who was involved in the research team that's produced this 2022 publication. So we offered a free live virtual training, and I'll tell you how you can access that at the end of this if you want to. It was called How to Analyse the Relationship Between Intimate Partner Violence, Suicidality and Self-Harm. Did anyone here catch that one? So the prevalence of suicide after domestic abuse is nothing new, but reviews are being called upon more and more to analyse this problem now. And some of the things that we talked about during that workshop were they created a newer level of depth to understanding this lived experience. So we talked about how emotional distress might present itself as different forms of pain. So an eating disorder, alcohol misuse, those kind of problems that we see cropping up in reviews and in our analysis. And what Estella was sharing was that the progression of these problems might not be linear. So some of the things that we do in our reviews and analysis are that we try to create a timeline and a chronology and look for patterns where something escalated. And in fact, it may be that it doesn't look like that. You know, we have the old 1 step forward, 2 steps back. And, you know, to understand things like if you're bulimic, you're more likely to self-harm. We've got little pockets of links that we're able to use the research for, but also to fully understand that you can't necessarily put a timeline on things. We talked about victim blaming language and, you know, the context that we're all working in around stigma and discrimination, where that's supported by legislation. But there's all these new factors at work, and we spoke in detail about screen time and social media, and then, you know, young men and cancel culture and the lack of role models. So we've got some great insightful comments from our workshop participants who really sort of shaped the day and took it in some really interesting directions. So that's something to watch as well if this is the kind of area that you're analysing quite regularly. I think, so for instance, Estella asked each of us how we would react when we saw a person who had marks from self-harm. And the thoughts that came through ranged from, I'd want to offer them an olive branch, I'd want to offer them the chance to talk. And then at the other end of the spectrum, it's kind of like, well, I'd feel uncomfortable to be singling them out and saying that I'd noticed those marks. So it was really helpful to share in that way as well, and, you know, understand our own kind of internal bias, how we feel when we see these problems as well. I think in reviews, we always want to just know what the links are and, you know, what the challenges for family members are so that we can engage best with them, and, you know, in the wider community, how we're reacting. And these are the kind of things that we were able to unpick really in quite a personal way in this workshop. You know, there's always a role of the inquest, which is a consideration as well, isn't it, in the domestic homicide review. So essentially what I'm going to do is, it's only available for the next 48 hours, but if it's something that you think you'd want to have a listen to, have a watch of, you can type replay into the comments if you haven't already received a replay of that, or if you didn't make it on the day, because there was quite a lot that came through that I think is going to be universally quite helpful in my community. So see whether just type replay into the comments if you want a copy of that. Okay, so that is my summary of last week. We've got something else coming up next week. So next week we're going to look at this Welsh Single Unified Safeguarding Review. So this is the idea that one form of review can flow from a set of circumstances that might previously have given rise to more than one type of review, which is fantastic and exciting and saves resource. So we're going to be asking, you know, what happens next now the consultation's closed. We're going to be asking whether we can use this review model straight away. We're going to look at the model itself, of course, and we're going to look at what can be achieved by using the repository, because all of the recommendations are going to be in one repository. And we're going to look at whether training is going to be offered to those who want to be a reviewer and how that pool of reviewers will be compiled. And there's going to be the opportunity for people in that audience to share their opinions, even though the consultation is closed. So if you missed that consultation, come along next week and you can share with Leanne what your thoughts are as well, to have them incorporated. For me, I'm thinking about the fact that at all times, there's always this perennial problem for those who commission reviews about finding a quality reviewer. So understanding exactly how reviews are going to be commissioned in the new. I'm so sorry, somebody's looking through the window at me. In this new single unified review is going to be really important. So we're going to post a link here in the comments below if you would like to join up. And And yeah, let us know as well in the comments what you would like us to cover next week. That would be fantastic for that Welsh Single Unified Safeguarding Review opportunity. Is it something that you would like to do some of this work in Wales? It seems like really quite a groundbreaking opportunity to me to have this one form of review. Perfect. I can see the link is now there. Finally, then, we've got something else. If you are a blue light leaver or you're considering leaving your blue light career, it might be that you are looking for something to do as part of your retirement plan when you leave one of these public sector organisations as well. I'm going to run a 1-hour workshop. It's just with me. It's on the 20th of July. And it's 1 till 2 p.m. on Zoom. So there's going to be more detail coming out about that. But if you all you need to do at the moment, if you think you might be interested, fantastic. Okay. If you think you might be interested, you've just got to type in the comments blue light leaver. It doesn't mean that you necessarily are massively certain that that's what you're going to do. But if you're thinking about it, just type in blue light leaver and we will send you everything you need so that you can decide whether to come along on the 20th of July as well. So thank you so much for joining me today. I can't see anything that you would like me to comment on for now, but thanks for all your comments. Thanks for being around. And I will be here again next Tuesday, normal time, 1:30, and we can have some more of these kinds of conversations. So have a great Tuesday and see you in a week. Bye.